I think it's time we talk a little bit about something that's going on in your life, and that is that you are not willing to take risks, and it's ruining your day. It's ruining your life. It's ruining all the potential that you have as a man, as a husband, as a partner, as a friend, as a son, as a father, whatever it is, the role that you're in, because you're embarrassed. You're embarrassed to be embarrassed. You're ashamed before you're even in that place where you need to feel shame and embarrassment. Something's going on where you learn that maybe it's not cool. Come here, buddy. Where you learned, this is our dog, by the way, where you learned, I don't want to feel embarrassed. I don't want to feel ashamed. So I'm not going to try. I'm not going to try that business because what if it fails? I'm not going to apply for that school because what if I get rejected? I'm not going to ask that girl out because what if I get rejected? So think about those three things, right? I'm not going to start that business because what if I fail? Well, yeah, you might fail. Like, I think the statistic is 90% of businesses don't make it past the first year. We barely made it past the first year, and that's just because we've been bootstrapping it. And then 50% of those businesses drop out by year 2, and that's the test we're in right now. So what if you fail? Then take the second one. Like, I'm not going to apply to that school. I'm not going to apply to that grad school. I didn't apply to the University of Texas because I was like, my friends who didn't do as much as I did athletically and club-wise, but had better grades, are getting rejected. I went to private school, so we didn't have the 10% rule at our year. It became 8, I think it's 6% now. But I was like, if they're not getting in, why am I going to try and possibly get rejected? I don't know, maybe I would have gotten in. Whether it's like the circumstances, whatever could have happened, I could have, maybe, never know, but I just chose not to. Instead, I went for the schools that I knew I was going to get into. I got accepted to Tech, Drew, HBU, Houston, A&M, SFA, like all those general schools, right? Like the quote unquote lower tier in Texas, and I got in. I felt good. I got a 100% acceptance rate, but I also didn't apply to anywhere that really stretched me. Like my goal school was Johns Hopkins. I never applied because I was like, I don't have a 4.0. I don't have like 5 years of varsity sports in 5 different letters and whatever. So I never applied because I didn't want to be embarrassed or have that shame of, well, I tried and it didn't work out. Or even more importantly, as a guy, you have definitely been rejected by a girl at some point in your life. There was a certain point where you asked a girl out and you got rejected. There are also times you didn't get rejected. She liked you and she said yes. If you think about each of these circumstances, not trying that business because you don't want to fail. No one wants to fail. No one starts a business because they want to fail. Like, I don't think that's, I mean, there's like things, but that's beyond the scope of this topic. No one applies to school thinking, I'm not going to get in. Except for my one friend who applied to Brown University because he wanted to follow Emma Watson. For y'all in the latest generation, you have no idea who that is. You know her as Hermione Granger. But he tried to apply because she was at school there. And he's like, oh, I have a shot. I'm going to do it. He got rejected. But he took it in stride. And he was happy that he at least tried. On the same note, there's times you've had girls say yes to go on a dance with you, go on a date with you, give you their number. Maybe there's been a girl who walked up to you and just said, here's my number, call me. And you didn't do anything. But guess what all of these have in common? You don't want that fear. You don't want to be embarrassed. At the end of the day, rejection comes down to, it's not about the rejection itself. It's the embarrassment. Like if you were rejected from a job that you knew you would hate, like you could see 5 years down the way, and you saw that you were telling yourself 5 years earlier, this job sucks, you're gonna hate it, you're not gonna be happy. Or you start a relationship and then you knew 5 years down the road that person's telling you, yo, you're gonna hate it. This is not what you want. Turn around. Then you're looking at rejection as, that was a good thing. Or, this has happened in all of our lives, you like a girl, she rejects you, and then later down the road, 5 years later, you're in college and you're like, dude, she's like all fat and ugly and just a terrible human being. And you're like, well, I'm glad I got rejected years ago. There's a girl I was going to ask, in high school, there was a girl I was going to ask to homecoming. And that same day, right before I was going to ask her, she was out in the parking lot with the quarterback doing things that I'm not allowed to say on YouTube. And I was hurt because I was like, damn, well, I guess I'm not going this year because I put all my money on that. I'm very happy I didn't, because then I would have been embarrassed and ashamed if that had come out. But now I look back and I'm like, you're doing nothing with your life. We have mutual friends, and I'm like, I don't see you doing anything. You're unmarried. I guess if that's what you want to do, and that's fine, but that's not how you seemed back then. And I'm like, cool. I've got a great wife. I've got I got a certificate and a degree that helped fund my lifestyle. I got this cute ass bear. I live a very happy, good life. I've got my Bible. I've got a business. I've got work. I have friends. I'm happy. But at that time, I would have been embarrassed. I would have been embarrassed having asked her out, and then these things come out. I would have felt ashamed if I had applied for those schools and didn't get in, and told my friends, hey, I didn't get into those schools. And maybe that's why I didn't do it. And I met my wife who went to UT later. But what if I had gone to the school and I had known her, I'm like, okay, no, I don't like her. I wouldn't have known this life. Obviously, we look back and we can see things 2020, but I wouldn't have known that then. There are things you're doing in life where you are looking to avoid the embarrassment. And by avoiding that embarrassment, you're trying to say, like, I live a good life, but the fact that I'm not embarrassed. When the reality is the way you're not embarrassed should be in the fact that you are open and telling the truth about everything that you're doing. You're not focused on what others think of me. There's a little bit of balance there, right? Like, you should care about what your boss thinks of you while you're working a 9 to 5, because the way they think of you affects what you get. Unfortunately, that's how it is. If you have friends who think you're a complete butthole, you should probably care a little bit, because why do you think I'm a butthole? If your boss thinks you're lazy, well, why do you think I'm lazy? And that's feedback to say, I'm a little embarrassed, I'm a little ashamed, but I can learn from this. You may give your friends help. They have a question, they ask you something. I've given bad advice before. I've done bad as a mentor. I've done bad as a coach. I've done bad as a trainer. And that was feedback. But I wouldn't have gotten that feedback if I didn't open myself to the embarrassment of, that wasn't right, that didn't work, oh crap, I'm gonna learn something different. When I met my wife, it was the smoothest, sexiest thing I think I've ever done. Like, I literally walked up to her, asked her to dance. 5 songs later, I was like, you know what? I want your number. Can I have your number? Give me your number. If you want the greatest pickup line I can give you, comment that and I will do a different video on that. There's so much that goes into this that I'm not gonna spend this video doing that. But pretty much I asked her, I wanna see you again. Can I have your number? Give me your number. Give me your number. And I took the number out on my phone and I said, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a selfie. Selfie. And I'm gonna send it to this number. If this is your number, this is gonna be our first picture together. If this isn't your number, some random stranger out there has a picture of the two of us. You know why I did that? Because I understood that I could be embarrassed. I could be embarrassed asking her and she's saying no. I've been embarrassed where girls have been like, are you kidding me? You think you can get with me? And at that point, you should not be with that person anyways. That's a good thing. That's a good rejection. I've had other times where I start dancing with a girl and she's like, it isn't good for me, but she was a terrible dancer. But they're never gonna say that. They're gonna blame you. It's just in the same case. Maybe the school isn't rejecting you because you're a bad candidate. The school's rejecting you because they found candidates that just fit better with them. Maybe you're mad about that dream job, but until you work that job, it's not a dream job. They didn't reject you from your dream. They reject you from maybe they're not actually looking. You know how many job sites have all these fake jobs just gathering your information, but they don't actually have a job out there? I would know because I was on that hiring side. I am on that hiring side. You know how many girls have probably just been heartbroken and rejected by a bunch of guys who look just like you? It's a Cody Johnson song, Me and My Kind, where it's like, she doesn't like guys like me anymore. So it's not about you all the time. And let's be real, when you get rejected by the school doesn't remember you. When you get rejected from a job, that job doesn't remember you. When a girl rejects you, she doesn't remember you. Because you're so focused on your little box and where you live, because honestly, that's all you can experience because that is your life, you feel like every bad decision is the end of the world. realistically, your decision to start a business, your decision to go to school, your decision to buy that car is not the end of the world. And I know it's very privileged to say like $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is, isn't the end of the world, because to some people that could be financial ruin. But at the end of the day, you can make money back. If you want to make $10,000, go get a second job. I know people are like, just go get a second job. What do you mean? You can literally work at McDonald's for, let's say $8 an hour. Take off taxes at $6 an hour. So let's say $10,000, that's $1,500. You can do that in a week, in a year. But guess what? You can't get that year back. So what if that $10,000 education paid off, gave you a year extra of freedom, because now you have a better role where you have more saved up time to spend with your family. You're not stressed out about a crap job or putting yourself in a difficult job where your life is in danger. And now you have more time with your family. You can make more money. At the end of the day, you can make more money. But the richest people in the world, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, they've never been able to make more time. You can hire people to take tasks off your plate so you have more time during your day, but they have not been able to make more time. There are people out there selling a $27, $47, $97 Canva template 100 times a day, and they're nowhere near as smart as you. There are people who are dumber than you. There are people less educated than you. There are people out there who are making more than you, not because they are smarter than you, but because they have the balls to say, I don't care if I get embarrassed. I'm going to put it out there and see what happens. The worst thing is that someone sees your ad and thinks, this is dumb, scroll, and they're on to the next thing anyways. It's your inability to just let it go, to stop focusing and caring so much about well, what do they think? What if they don't like me? I get it. We're all seeking validation in some form or fashion. But at the end of the day, the only validation you really need is you. But you're seeking your internal validation from people's external response. And that is a very, very difficult way to live. When my wife and I were struggling in our marriage, and I had this conversation with her, I told her, I could solve childhood cancer, I could solve world hunger, but in this moment, I will still be the bad guy, no matter what I do. You can be the greatest person, you can be the smartest person, but someone out there is going to say that you are not what you think you are. You're not as good looking, you're not as fun, you're not as great, you're not as smart, you're not as rich, that's always how it's going to be. So while you're so worried about finding that acceptance from everyone else, the only guaranteed acceptance is from yourself. And if you want to learn how to accept yourself better, you got to start doing things. As you start doing things, you build more. As you build more trust in yourself, you can... Baba, por favor. Hey, cálmate, mi perrito. Yes, I speak Spanish también. And dog. Baba. Okay. You have to build that trust in yourself first. You have to be willing to say, I'm going to learn even if this embarrasses me. Because at the end of the day, you don't look back at your life and say, Baba. You're not going to say Baba, right? You're going to look back at your end of your days and say, did I really live for the approval of others? Did I spend 80 years on this earth waiting for someone else to validate me? And I think that's a really ridiculously sad way to live. That's a lot of noise you don't need. And on that note, as we're approaching the end of October, this is my invitation to join No Noise November. It's not that you need to do more. You don't need to learn more. You don't need to try more. There's just a lot of stuff in your head that's cluttering you and causing a lot of noise and chaos and blocking you from what you need to do. The same noise that makes you say, I don't want to start that business because I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to ask that girl out because what if she says no and I'm embarrassed? That's the noise preventing you from having the life you want to live. So join us in November for No Noise November. It's going to be linked down below. So you can get access to that. Every day I'm going to give you a training through email. I know a lot of people like courses, a lot of people like audiobooks. We have a couple of those things. but I want you to get it through email, because the first thing you do in the day is you're probably not waking up saying, oh my God, I'm so grateful and thankful for this day and it's a beautiful morning. I had to learn how to do that. Things I'm going to teach you. The first thing you do is you scroll through social media, you scroll through emails and say, what do I need to stress about today? So if you get that morning email where it's like, how to think about the day, mindset shift to help me be a better husband, how do I be a better partner, something that actually gives you value in the day, your day is going to be a lot better going forward because you're starting it off right versus focusing on, oh my God, I'm late, I have to run and do this, I gotta go change, I gotta take care of the kids, I gotta go answer that email, I gotta go make coffee, and I don't know what to do in my life because I don't know what I'm doing. Until then, in peace, love, and light, good morning, good afternoon, good night from wherever you're watching this. This is Lawrence with Candles signing off. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. This is your Monday mindset. I might change this to Monday message maybe. Because we look so poorly on Monday that if I can give you a little spark and a little hope and a little joy on a Monday that brings out the rest of your week. Think about it, when you have a really bad Monday, the rest of your week feels bad because you're trying to fix that Monday. But when your Monday is great, your week just ends up being great because you're looking for great. All right, go embarrass yourself out today. Go out there and embarrass yourself today. Go do something that you wouldn't expect yourself to do. Be bad at it, suck a little bit and suck a little bit less. And then at a certain point, you just get so good, you forget that you used to suck. All right, take care. Until next time.